In this session, we will see how to configure NTP, and we will see some NTP tuning options. This is our setup. We are going to configure this device first. We are going to configure here two public NTP servers. So this device is going to become Stratum 2. Core 1 and Core 2 are going to use this device as their NTP server. So they are going to become Stratum 3 devices. Distribution switches are going to use core devices as their NTP server, so they are going to become Stratum 4 devices. Access switches are going to use distribution switches as their NTP server, so they are going to become Stratum 5 devices. We are also going to make Core 1 and Core 2 NTP peers, the same for distribution switches. Then we are going to fine-tune the clock. We are going to configure authentication keys for NTP. We are going to add access control lists for NTP. We are going to configure NTP source interfaces. And for VLAN 2, that is the VLAN that is connecting end users and end devices, we are going to ignore every single NTP packet that arrives through that VLAN. The first device that we are going to configure is this one. We need two public NTP servers in order to configure it. So we are going to Google NTP servers, and we are going to pick two random IP addresses as servers. So we're going to pick this one, and we are going to configure this device. Let's issue NTP server the IP address and prefer, because we want this to be the primary NTP server. And we're going to pick another one. Let's say this one, and we are going to configure it as well. So this will be NTP server, and then we can issue show NTP associations. Okay, now we are seeing the IP addresses of each device, so we will use that as a guide. So let's go for Core 1 and configure the NTP server will be 10.1.1.11, and the NTP peer will be 10.1.1.2. So let's go for Core 2, and the server will be 10.1.1.11, and the peer will be 10.1.1.1. Now let's go for the distribution switch. And for the distribution switches, distribution 1 will use the NTP server Core 1 that has the IP address 10.1.1.1, and the peer will be the distribution switch number 2 that has the IP address 10.1.1.4. Now for the second distribution switch, its NTP server will be 10.1.1.2, and its peer will be the other distribution switch that has the IP address 10.1.1.3. Let's do the access switches now. So the NTP server will be distribution switch 1 that is 10.1.1.3, and this will be the preferred one, and the other will be 10.1.1.4. We're going to configure that at every single access switch. Okay, let's go for access 2. And now access 3. Now, by default, the clock is going to show the time in UTC. We need to set it up in order to show the time with the correct time zone. So we can issue clock time zone, for instance, a CST for Central Standard Time -6. We can also configure daylight savings time, for instance, with clock summertime. We are not going to do that. And now, after doing that change, we can see the clock. Now it shows at Central Standard Time. Now we are going to apply this script to provide security for NTP. We are going to create a NTP authentication key. Then we are going to create this access list, and we are going to apply it with the command NTP access group. So only packets whose source IP address matches this access list will be allowed by NTP servers and NTP peers. And we are going to modify all these packets, and we are going to make them use the IP address coming from the loopbacks of these devices as the source IP address. So let's configure this for core devices and distribution devices. So core 1, core 2, distribution 1, and distribution 2. Now the script for access switches is almost the same. We are going to use the IP address that comes from the interface VLAN 1 rather than from the loopback. Now that we created a key in order to provide NTP authentication, we need to modify our configuration. So we are going to add the key to the NTP server and NTP peer commands. So for core 1, this will be the commands. For core 2, distribution 1, distribution 2, and for access devices, now finally we're going to disable NTP on VLAN 2. VLAN 2 is the VLAN that provides service to end users and end devices. We don't want to provide NTP services to end users and end devices, only to network devices. So this is just a security measure. We are going to ignore every NTP packet coming from users or end user devices. That's it.